Hello everyone, here we are again for another episode of Speak Up and Lead Talks, the place to be for sexy and savvy conversations. And today, as usual, I have a special guest for you. And this lady comes from Sweden. She has a background in strategy in management. However, nowadays, she is supporting entrepreneurs and business owners to build up their stories through videos, through films. I have the pleasure to introduce to you Naseem. I will let her to say her surname because I cannot pronounce that. And I welcome Naseem to our show to share with us about her story of why we should consider using films to promote our brands and our stories. Welcome, Naseem.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Naseem Quraishi Larsson. So my father is from India, but I was primarily grown up in Sweden, but also spent a few years in the Middle East, for example, and in English school.
Okay, Naseem, I was reading your extensive profile, which I will share with the community afterwards. And I was curious to know what led you from coming from something very strategy management and then for something that's more creative like films. What happened that you started this journey in the film, becoming a film producer?
Well, I think the journey actually became when I was started when I was still in IBM. I started studying creative writing, and I really enjoyed it. And I always loved books also. I loved books and I also loved films. And when I quit IBM, I decided to have a year off to kind of find out what I really wanted to do with my future life. And I didn't expect the change to be as big as it became. But I started studying film script writing, and I enjoyed it so much. And I met a lot of people from this sector, and met actresses, and etc., and film producers, and they really liked my scripts. So I started also producing drama.
Wow, drama.
Yes. But when I went, the thing is that I realized that I have a knack for imagining how other people feel and what their wants and needs are. And I also realized this was a key to my success during my years in IBM. So I spent 10 years in IBM, and I had a global career, in fact, where I started to implement a lot of the new tools and strategies that IBM had. And I realized that one of the key difficulties of implementing global strategies is to make people really understand what it means for them. Mm. And to be able to do that, you have to go into like the wants and needs of people. And it's the same thing when you build applications that you distribute. It's a very similar process to actually filmmaking.
Oh, interesting. I never thought about this correlation. And one thing that you mentioned that in your profile, for me was very interesting, that you said that when you left IBM, you realized that you have left a very strong brand behind you. And then all of a sudden you took this year break to experiment other things. But when you decided to launch yourself as a film producer, you realized that you didn't have a name, that you didn't have a network, and then you used that process also to build up your own brand, your own name. Can you share that experience with us?
Yes, well, I realized that you can't just step into a big corporation without actually a brand behind you. They are used to working with big brands. So, of course, then to even get a job as a consultant, I had to go via, or like these big firms that actually also use other consultants. But I felt that there was something lost because they couldn't sell me, in my brand. They sold something and then they placed me there. And that's a process that I didn't feel quite comfortable with because I had my own brand in IBM. Everybody knew who I was. So they knew what to use me for. So I always got like the perfect job. But when I had to go through other consultancy agencies, basically, I felt that the profile didn't fit anymore. So I felt that, I need to create my own brand and become known for who I am. In Sweden, because I had a global career also. So the reason why it was difficult for me also was I started working on the Swedish market after many years in global positions in IBM. So I didn't have the network here either where I was situated. So this became a journey where I started also studying, like, how do you build a brand? What's good when you're building a brand? And one of the things was write a book. So I decided to write a book also about globalization, about my experience from my leading roles in IBM to build my brand. Then I learned also that, to sell the book, you have to actually be a public speaker. So you have to be willing to get up on stage and do this also. And also we have a common background in Toastmasters. So one of the reasons I joined Toastmasters was that I realized, part of my brand building is going to be me speaking on stages. So I wanted to feel very comfortable doing that. And it was also an interesting process that I realized also in Toastmasters that you can't hide behind a big brand. You have to market your own personal brand. That means also telling your own story. So that's also how I got into branding and storytelling for like entrepreneurs. I realized that a very important part of actually getting clients is to get people to trust you. And that goes for any entrepreneur of any kind. And a lot of people who are professionals also, they think that, my certifications are going to help me get a job. A lot of people get consultant certifications of different kinds, or project management certifications, or even if they're dentists or something like that, they think this is going to be enough. I have this profession and that's enough. But it's not. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to get people to know who you are and to trust you as a person.
And I'd say it's sorry for interrupting you a second. It's about you building up your story. People are interested in your story. Who is the person behind the brand? And then I believe that was where also, as from you mentioned to me, where you discover your passion, your passion through storytelling together with filmmaking, and then you started helping people on that. Can you share with us something on that line?
Yes, I think also that a lot of entrepreneurs, particularly, they have started their business because they are passionate about something. It can be health, it can be a movement, it can be design, it can be something that they personally enjoy, like, and have personal experience from. So many people in the health business, for example, they have gone through some health difficulties themselves, or someone close to them has, and they have found a solution that they think is really great, and then they want to share this with the world. They feel that, oh my God, there is a big problem out there and I know how to solve it. But then sometimes they get frustrated because people don't understand why. And so me myself also, when I found that film was such an effective way to market yourself, it was like a revelation also for me. Then I found that not everybody understood this, why it works. So, also we have a common business mentor in Kay Minkes, and he said to me also, you have to educate people also into why this works and why they should do it. Not everybody knows. So it's the same thing in sales all over, that a lot of people don't understand, your passion that you have a great interest in and know a lot about. And so they're not ready to buy from you.
Yes, so as they say, sorry for interrupting, as they say, is facts tell and the stories sell.
Yes.
Because the stories connect through emotions, and people buy through emotions.
Exactly. And they also buy what they know and what they feel comfortable with. So if they know who you are and why you are doing what you do, then they become more interested. So for me, my story was also that I realized, as I said, that the common denominator in my success in IBM, because I did not have a technical background. And sometimes I wondered, how could I be having all these discussions with people with such deep technical knowledge and actually, leaders in this field? And then I realized I was good at explaining things. I was good at listening and understanding and conveying messages for other people. So I was creating a lot of connections between people and aha moments. Oh, even the managers didn't sometimes understand the products that the developers had created. And a lot of people never understood the value of it. So I felt that, there are a lot of things going to waste that people don't understand the value of, and it never gets implemented. And that's how I feel when I meet entrepreneurs that have a really great product or service, and that they're really passionate and really about what they do. They're really good at what they do. And particularly women, I find, have these enormous skills, and they never stop learning new things. But they, a lot of the time, have a problem showing themselves to their target groups and to being visible.
Yeah, you're talking here my language, because this is what I'm preaching in everything I do. There's time to learn how to speak up, and the opportunity is there. And then you mentioned about going to Toastmasters because you realized the importance of having good presentation and communication skills. These are vital. And I say there's so many opportunities out there nowadays for you to step up on stage. However, if you're not prepared, that these can backfire. Instead of being an opportunity, can really damage your image. And I keep repeating this until people get tired, but they start taking action towards that and improve their presence on stage, because it's still like, even we know, everybody knows, but it's still many people take for granted, and they go on stage not prepared at all, not knowing their story, right? Because that's what you work with them. And I remember talking to you, you said how difficult it is to get this story from the people. They have the good product, but they don't know their story. They don't know the story they are telling to their audience.
Yeah, so I also see that some people who have tried to make films, sometimes it's very poor quality in general. It's both. You can't really see properly, you can't hear properly, and that just creates frustration. So that's, the absolute basics that you would want. It's a bit like us even sitting here in front of the computer. We've been using a bit of lighting just to make it better, the quality. It's not so much about, the camera technique, but it's about knowing what to do in front of the camera, what to say, where to be, and how to set it up. But most of all, the importance is to have a clear message. So I also see that some people spend a lot of money on actually getting really high class technology and professional film photographers, but it's because they're thinking photo and not film. So they're thinking more about looking nice and clear pictures, clear sound, but there's still no story. And then it doesn't work. There's nobody who is interested. In fact, they get bored. So a lot of people say, well, how long can a film be? Can it be more than 1 minute? Well, if it's good and interesting, it definitely can be more than 1 minute. But if it's boring, you're lucky if people watch 30 seconds. And boring that's when you, in principle, read the facts from your home page. That's very boring. Yeah. So and people are normally not that interested in exactly what your product does or how it works or your service or your method. They're not interested in the details. They are interested in whether they can trust you to help them. So it's a bit like if you go to a doctor, you're presuming that this doctor knows what they're doing. You want to know that this doctor cares about me and will diagnose me correctly and can actually help me. But if they started telling you exactly what educations they had, and it would probably create distress instead. But a lot of business owners do that. So they think that if I'm approaching somebody and I need help in some area, they're going to line up a lot of schools that maybe nobody heard about even, and describe methods and use words that people don't understand, and it just creates stress and confusion in the clients. But telling people, like this is my big passion in life, and I've actually been studying this all my life, basically, because that's a lot of the time what it's like. Because it's like me, I like also working internationally. So now I have international customers. That's part of my identity also, to be multicultural and to understand people in other countries. So I'm particularly suited also to help people who are trying to implement what they do internationally, because I also know a lot about other people in other countries. So my passion, of course, leads me also to see films and read books about other countries for me to understand them. So I was just having a talk with a client in the building sector, and he was suddenly asked, he suddenly talked about Nigeria. So I could immediately connect, because I recently saw a film from Nigeria. I recently read a book from Nigeria, and in fact, I even had a client from Nigeria. So that's how it works for me. And the reason for that is because I love to get to know people. And
yeah, can I just make a note on that? What you're saying is about everything you say that we have to consider in video is the same we have to consider anytime we are presenting ourselves to any audiences. And when I say audiences, we are not talking only about the stage itself. We're talking about a conversation one-on-one is also an audience. And everything we do, we should know our audience. And exactly what you're saying, that we need to be up to date with what's going on around us, but also what exactly the needs and interests and hobbies of our audiences, and then we can build up our message, our product, our service in a language they will understand. Because if I come with my own agenda saying how good my product is and everything I do and how I got there, but the audience will think exactly like that, but why do I have to hear that? Why is this, how is this going to improve my life or solve my problems? And your example of the doctor is perfect. Like if you go to the doctor and he is not listening to us and trying to understand us, and it's more about his title than how good he is and his expertise, there is no connection. There's not going to lead a successful relationship in business or in a relationship between patients and the doctor in that case. So this is very, very important. Is the base that we have to consider.
And it's the same thing even in very technical sectors, and a lot of people don't think so. They think, okay, that maybe go for health or something like that, but it goes for IT too. So people want to know, they want to work with people who understand their needs. So if you look at IT method, the first thing in building an application is looking at the customer's wants and needs. That's what you do. You look at the target group and exactly what is it that they actually want and need. And the whole process is geared towards creating that.
Excellent. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and in the film business, so I realized also that the film business was very much like IT, and that's how I got into it from the beginning, because I realized that the planning process is basically the same. You start with some message that you want to send, but before you even can start creating it, you have to know who you're sending it for and what your key message is. So that's the core thing I learned also when making scripts. You even go back to what your core value is. So your core value also creates the story. So what is behind there? So also we like to work with women, for example. So my core values are, diversity and letting everybody shine, irrespective of background or who they are. So I have a passion for that also. And it's a deep-rooted value. And it always also comes out in my stories and my films. So, and then it goes all the way to distribution, where it actually starts meaning something. So my first drama was actually about bullying in school, and it became a bestseller in Swedish schools.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, and I think the reason for that was that I had very clear values behind it, and I knew what message I was sending and why, because I wanted to create increased emotional intelligence and tolerance in the children.
Excellent. Yeah. I would love to see this video. I'm sure you'll be able to share the link with us, will you?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
excellent.
It's translated. It's in Swedish, but I have it actually translated in English. Yes.
Even better, because we could even just look the pictures if that was the case, but I'm sure in the community there will be some Swedish people
Mm.
as well. And my last question to you, Naseem, because we want to keep it short and crisp.
Mm.
What kind of suggestions and key points you could give to our audience, our community here, when they are planning to brand themselves through videos, which I believe with that they can also translate to other medias, but through videos, which is your expertise, what they should have in mind when they start considering selecting videos to brand themselves?
Mm. Um, I think that the most primary thing is to look at yourself and to look at what is it that you are bringing to the table, irrespective of the service or product that you have. What are you adding to this product or service? And how come you have this particular skill to do it? And what other people around you have recognized this skill and told you what it is. Because a lot of people have people who say, oh, you are very good at this, or you're very good at that. And that also will help you. Like, for example, people comment to my clothes a lot, my colors and so on. And I did a branding study when I was still a consultant, and people started talking about my ability to dress and to make a nice home and colors. So I realized I'm very visual, and that is one of my key things that I bring to the film, of course, that I'm good at visuals. So sometimes you can discover also things about yourself that you add to something, and you can even expand it also. Yeah.
And asking as most of us know, like when we are very talented in something, we tend to overlook that because we do that naturally. And we
Yes.
think that everybody is capable of doing that. So this exercise that you're saying, ask your close ones, your friends, people that you trust, to ask them, what do you think I do very well? And we might be surprised on what they come
Yes.
across, because I've heard things from friends when I asked that I never thought of myself, and that was really, really revealing.
Yeah. And also it can also increase your confidence if you can get also your clients, for example, on film to tell others what they actually liked with you and what it was that you delivered for them. So it's both good for your own confidence, and it also helps to create this trust in your customers.
Excellent. I think the message is clear here to everybody, that we have first to know ourselves, what is the message we want to come across, but also then know our audience and learn how to translate our message from our language to a language that our audience would be interested in listening to, will connect through. And for the next year, we are starting here a new year, new plans, new ideas, new projects. I suggest you start considering building up your story, crafting your story, and showing your story to the world through videos.
Mm.
And why not to reach out for Naseem and use her expertise to help you on that.
Mm.
I will include Naseem's contact at the end of the video, and I'm sure she'll be very happy if you reach her out.
I just want to mention also that I do have a mentor program where I actually take people through this process, from creating their own story, helping them with this, and also teaching them to make quality videos.
That's excellent. So share this information with us. I'm pleased to include the link of it and to all the community. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. It's always good to learn from someone who has a passion and dedicates to help others to take the best from them.
Just one more thing also. I also have free webinars where I share how to build your brand also. So that's a good beginning if you are interested in knowing a bit more about what I do.
That's very good. So Naseem has been very generous, sharing with us everything she can offer to us. And I'm sure some of you would be able to benefit from that. This is all from me right now. Thank you so much again, Naseem. We will continue working together in
Yes.
2018 and wishing you all the best. And let's keep in touch. Let's keep working. And this is all from me from Speak Up and Lead Talks, your place for sexy and savvy conversations. See you
Thank you
soon.
for having me. Okay.
My pleasure. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye.